Hello everybody and welcome to another YouTube video from Routemaster for Hire. Do you want to find out how we prep and prepare all our buses for private hire work? Well, keep watching because at the weekend this bus is out on a wedding. So how do we prep these buses for a wedding, or indeed any kind of private hire? Well, you've already seen how we maintain our buses and keep them in tip-top condition mechanically, and that attention to detail extends to the inside as well. The bus has already had a wash outside, so I know it's gleaming, but on the inside I want it to be just as clean. On the wedding at the weekend, the bride will be sitting on these seats, so I need to make sure these seats are nice and clean. One of my pet hates is smears on windows as well, so I'm going to go around and clean all the insides of the windows to make sure they are lovely and smear free. And then after that I'm going to hoover the seats, because over the last couple of months, with us being in lockdown and all the weddings being cancelled, we haven't actually carried any passengers on this bus for about 12 months. The only passenger that's been sat on this bus when we've taken it for a little ride to go and get a coffee or for some mechanical work is Jess. And unfortunately Jess leaves hairs wherever she sits. Thanks, Jess. So I'm going to make sure all the seats are hoovered and nice and clean, and then after that we're going to hoover the floor and mop the floor, and I'm going to do that on both the upper and lower deck. Even though on the wedding this weekend we are still restricted to 30 people at a wedding, so I know there's going to be less than 30 people. I think there's only going to be about 12 or 15 people on the bus, but I need to make sure every area of the bus is spotlessly clean. It doesn't matter whether there's 12 passengers like there will be at the weekend, or whether we'll have a full bus of 64 people. This bus needs to be spotless inside. So I've got my work cut out over the next couple of hours. Right, that's the windows done. They're looking a lot better. I've hoovered the floor and the seats. I've just got the mopping to do down here, although I think maybe I might need to hoover a certain seat again. Who said you could sit in my seat after I've hoovered? Cheeky. No rest, is there? Now, just got the mopping to do down here, and then I'm going to tackle and do exactly the same on the upper deck. And there's also an area of the bus that always gets forgotten when we're cleaning the inside, and that's the cab. We never seem to remember to clean the cab, so I'm going to hoover the cab floor and give that a little mop and a polish ready for Tim to drive at the weekend. Because you know what he's like, if I don't do that he'll only moan. Right, cup of tea and then we'll do the upstairs and the cab. Downstairs is now fit for a king. Whenever our buses go out on a private hire, the driver is always the first person to arrive at the unit, and typically he's the last person to leave. And that's because they have to complete a whole load of paperwork. This includes details of all their previous driving and working hours for the current and previous month, as well as completing a tachograph disc. This disc is placed into a tachograph unit which we have fitted in the cabs of all of our buses. Tachographs record information about driving time, speed and distance, and they're used to make sure the employee and the driver follow all the rules on driving hours. Once the paperwork is complete, the driver has one more very important job to do.
Right, so I'm out on a wedding hire today. Now this is the first one I've done in quite a long time because of COVID and everything. We've been well behind with having bookings for weddings, so the first one I've done for a bit. So the first job we do is check the oil before we start the engine and move the bus. So pull out the dipstick. Yep, that's all good. So we'll move the bus outside so there's a bit more light because it's quite a tight space where this one is in the doorway, and then we'll do the daily walk round check.
A daily walk round check is an easy and effective way to ensure the vehicle is safe to drive on the road and carry passengers before leaving the depot. It allows the driver to spot any issues with the bus that may become potentially dangerous. We carry out all our walk round checks via an app. The driver logs onto the system through his mobile phone and is prompted to check predetermined items. The system allows the driver to upload photos where necessary and report any defects found. Only after all the checks on the app have been completed does the system allow the driver to take the bus out onto the road. Now, two of the most safety critical parts of any vehicle are the steering and the brakes, and that's why we always take the bus for a short run to check all of these are working as they should. Once we know these are okay, we continue with all the other checks. Once we are happy with everything on the outside of the bus, we turn our attention to the inside, again referring to the predetermined checks on the app.
We've got a little friend on our bus as well. He just disappeared. Great big bee. There he is.
He needs to go off.
There we go. All good and ready to go.
Now, no two weddings are the same. Every booking is bespoke to the bride and groom's requirements. For today's wedding, we've been tasked with picking up the bridal party at the bride's house and getting them all to the church on time. Then after the service, we're taking all the guests from the church to the reception venue. Now, initially we would have been taking 64 passengers on this booking today, but due to COVID restrictions, only 30 guests are allowed at a wedding.
Yeah, we're only a year late.
Alright, don't worry. So many people to wave at.
I feel like royalty. So you must be Nick. Nice to meet you.
Where's it go?
Don't worry about me, I'll just be getting on. Right, okay. Right guys, I'll see you there, okay?
Yeah.
She's like, as I said, the last accident went to... No, but too, they were literally just taking the pictures in the back last Saturday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wear them now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, you have to be last one.
Claire said we don't have to. And it's her day, so I'm going with that.
I think
Do you have a booking?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. I think we're definitely progressing around this.
Oh yeah. I'll do that now.
There we go. That's another wedding done and another happy customer. So, the next job we're going to do is do the daily walk round check. So, we've got a new system we're using on the buses now, and that is on an app on the phone called, I've forgotten what it's called.
The first job I'm going to do, actually, before I do the upper deck, is an area of the bus that always gets left behind. It always gets forgotten, and that's the cab. Now, I'm not driving at the weekend. Tim's driving this wedding. He's wedding. It's a wedding, not a wedding. He's driving a wedding. Dickhead.